I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Wednesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Apologies to our northern listeners, but if you are in Kingston, we are doing the Wake and Bake once again at Gino's Pizza coming up on December 6th. We're going to be broadcasting live from the Division Street location, doing the morning show there. We will have the pizza breakfast going on once again, all in support of the Kingston Food Bank.
Yes, and as we did last year, which I believe it ended in a tie last year, we have each come up with our own pizza slice, our own pizza toppings that you can buy starting today as you're listening to this podcast. Again, if you're in Kingston, at Gino's Paisanos. Do you want to start by explaining your pizza this year?
I've got Brock's Meaty Ball Pizza. So what we did here is we took the Gino's meat sauce that they use for like their pasta and stuff there.
Yeah.
Put that on the bottom. Nice, decent layer of cheese. Got the meatballs on there, some sausage, some bacon, and then some Firehouse sauce squirted on top just to give it a little extra kick there. It's meaty, it's bally, it's everything you need.
What I like too is that you put the Firehouse sauce on before it goes into the oven.
So it bakes in.
It bakes in, and it takes, for people like me who are a bit of spice wuss, it takes a little bit of the edge off, but you still get the flavor. Mm-hmm. Very good looking pizza.
Meatball, a little bit of kick as well.
Absolutely. And then on my side, I have what I'm calling the PhD. It's the smartest pizza in town, and it's just an acronym for pepperoni, honey, and Doritos.
Now, you say it's the smartest pizza. It's the stoner pizza of the city is what it is, bro.
Hey, sometimes when it comes to food, stoners are the smartest
You're
people
not wrong
I know.
on that.
I saw the list of sort of ingredients when they asked us if we wanted to build our own pizza, and I saw Doritos on there, and I was just like, my brain immediately went, I have to figure out how to use
Were
that.
you on the devil's lettuce?
I was on a gummy. I guess that's kind of the
there we
same
go.
thing.
There we go.
Same
It adds
thing.
up. It adds up.
But you take the pepperoni, and it's got pepperoni both under the cheese and then the cup pepperonis on top, crumbled Doritos under the cheese, full Doritos on top, and then, like pizza sauce and a drizzle of honey once it comes out of the oven. That sweet cuts through the salty. It's such a great pairing.
If you're in Kingston, go to Gino's Paisanos down on Division Street. I think it's like $1 from every single slice sold. We'll go to the food bank. If you get a full pie, I think it's like $3 or $4. And then don't forget, December 6th, we'll be doing the Wake and Bake.
And if you're not in Kingston, feel free to go buy some pizza dough and try to make a Brock or Dalby at home and let us know what you think.
Get stoned and throw some Doritos on there.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got a text in here at 762-555. I don't know if you saw this from Brian. He said, my wife just sent me this. Brock, you should get this for Dalby for Christmas.
Oh, is this the picture that he sent in?
It's the Arby's deodorant.
Yeah, Brian's banned from the text line. I don't know if you know that.
Apparently that's real.
What?
I Googled it back in, 2021 or 2022. Arby's and Old Spice actually teamed up and made a deodorant.
They had the meats and the sweats.
It was literally called the Meat Sweat Defense.
Oh, that's so gross.
Such a gnarly thought.
The idea that you would use deodorant specifically because you knew you were about to eat a ton of roast beef is so nasty.
They had literally a stick of deodorant and then an actual body spray as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And did it smell like was the idea that it would smell like meat or axe?
The idea is that it would prevent you from having the meat sweats, is
Right.
what it is.
Okay.
So it didn't actually smell like roast beef.
Oh, okay. Well, then it feels like kind of a waste, doesn't it? Because, when you go into the deodorant aisle or the body spray aisle, you're picking scents.
I can't imagine going in and being like, I want to smell like a roast beef and cheddar.
Hit a double pits to chesty so you can smell like a beef and ched.
Oh, they got the Horsey sauce spray.
The stick is red and you're just rubbing it on your pits.
The curly fries would actually be nice, but then again, you just smell like, I guess maybe you work the fryers for a few hours.
That's just it, right? Because curly fries, like the seasoning has a nice smell, but oil smells like oil.
I am surprised you don't see more companies do this. Like if Tim Hortons came out with a coffee smell deodorant, people would probably buy it.
You know what? Isn't it crazy that a coffee body spray would sell well, but coffee breath is about the biggest nightmare you can have with a person?
Yeah.
Like if we were this distance and I smelled coffee on you, I'd be like, that's really nice. But if you got a little closer.
I'm just saying, if Subway came out with Italian herb and cheese body wash or body spray,
I'm there.
I would buy the hell out of that thing.
I will throw my current bar of deodorant, which is about half full, in the garbage to replace it with Italian herb and cheese
Cinnabon deodorant?
Yo.
Oh my God.
Why are we not making millions of dollars selling these ideas?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The amount of people texting in about wanting a KFC deodorant is crazy right now.
Didn't KFC, was it KFC or Pizza Hut that did like a cologne a few years ago?
Did they?
I feel like one of them did. And I remember, Pizza Hut did a cologne. KFC did the log you could burn at Christmas that made your house smell like
the KFC one would be nice because you could have 11 different types of deodorants and it's all the different herbs and spices.
It's not Old Spice.
Yeah.
It's Old Spices.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. You made a Mary Brown's deodorant. People in Newfoundland would go crazy for that.
It's all they would wear.
Yeah.
It would be the number one selling deodorant in the Maritimes, for sure.
Oh man, we had a bunch of people texting in about apple pie beaver tails as well, but like the beaver thing from yesterday is still in my mind. So
true. And also like with any of those things, and even like this is why KFC might not work. As soon as you get to like deep frying stuff, yeah, you've got the smell of a beaver tail that's pretty good, but like you'd also have that like oily smell, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that would kind of ruin it.
Yeah, for sure.
What about like a Starbucks? Would Starbucks?
That's got to be pumpkin spice, right?
Right. Well, I think you could do the way that they do coffee. You could have like a Starbucks coffee aroma, and then around the holidays you sell your special pumpkin spice blend
100%
of colognes, perfumes, deodorants. McDonald's, on the other hand,
that's just got to be fries, right?
I think that's what we were saying.
Specifically, just really salty,
or maybe like an air of Big Mac sauce, like a little tang in the air.
It smells like teenagers and French fries. That's what McDonald's would smell like.
Okay. So if that's McDonald's, what's Wendy's?
Is that the Baconator? So just like bacon,
the square patties, the big bacon burgers. Yeah. I mean, bacon cologne and deodorant definitely exists.
Yeah.
Now you add in like a little bit of the other meats. I can see it being
hint of mayonnaise in there.
Go away from the beef. Red Lobster. Could Red Lobster do a cologne?
I don't know, man, because Red Lobster, you're either just stanking like fish
or butter.
I'm
going to go ahead and say that a butter cologne might work. Fish cologne, probably not. Butter might attract a certain
dude,
person.
If you walk in the room and smell like fish, you're going to be like, close your legs.
What about Dairy Queen?
Dairy Queen's got to be like a mix of, I guess, waffle cones and burgers.
I was going to say, like, I think you got to have some, like, fruity tones in there from, like, the different kinds of ice cream and stuff like that. Like, there's got to be some, like, strawberry and stuff like that. Waffle cone's a good call, though.
Waffle cone would be a nice scent, yeah.
Waffle cone would be solid. Okay, I have to ask you this one, because this is your spot. What about Taco Bell?
Oh, man, Taco Bell would be the worst. Taco Bell would be like a mix of Baja Blast, and then you ever go into like a gas station bathroom? Yeah. That's what Taco Bell deodorant would smell like, bro.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I feel like I've recently discovered that I might be in the wrong line of work. After, Venice in Italy, like the city that's mostly waterways.
Yeah.
And they have those big gondola boats with the gondoliers who drive with a one oar and they sing the love songs, and it's very romantic. Do you know that those dudes make up to 150,000 euros a year?
Is that just like in tips, or what is that?
That's like between basically the fee for renting out their boats and then, like tips and stuff like that on top of it.
I mean,
all.
I guess it makes sense. It is like a big tourist trap kind of thing.
Yeah, it does feel like if you were ever going to go to Venice, like...
That's what everybody wants to do.
You got to get in the boat at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I found this out because apparently... the gondolier population in Venice. There's only 433 licensed gondola drivers, and they're getting old.
Oh, so it's kind of like a prestigious job?
Well, I mean, honestly, you think about it. If you got into that job, you're making $150K a year to push a boat around. Why would you ever get out unless you were getting too old to do it
I'm
anymore?
interested what the requirements are for that, because I feel like you got to have like good balance. They sing a lot, so you got to be a good singer too. You got to imagine.
That's true. Like if you're up there warbling Italian love songs off key and off pitch, your tips probably take.
I wonder if like the interview process is like they like have you stand on a boat and shake it, and then have you sing like "When the Moon Hits Your Eye Like a Big Pizza Pie."
Also, do you think that there's an opening? Like, does it have to be in the movies and TV? The trope is always the big love songs, right? But like, do you think the tourists would be upset if you got onto the boat? Maybe you're funny. You did like a tight 5 stand-up as you're pushing the boat
Absolutely
around.
not. I hate that so much. You're just trying to have a romantic evening with your gal.
Guy just starts ripping jokes.
Yeah.
I found out for $1,500 Canadian, you can take a training course to become a gondolier. Now, it says that it'll teach you English. I would assume if you already know that, they probably would teach you some Italian.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like if I'm going to Italy and I get on the gondola, I want a true Italian guy up there.
Really?
Like, yeah, dude.
Why?
Pay all this money to go to Europe and then have you up there?
Well, you don't have to say it with such venom in
You
your
want
voice.
the true experience. I want some guy that's like, oh, hello. I don't want you being like, hey, guys.
I do a pretty good Mario impression. Like,
That's just racist.
If you got on the boat and I was like, it's me, Dalby. And
Bro,
I started singing to
it'd be
you.
like going to the gas station to get sushi. You want the true experience if you're paying all the money to go to Italy, right? Like,
I don't know, man. I just think it's an interesting way to make a bunch of money.
Sure.
Not to mention, it's only 40 hours. You do like 30 hours of like book learning about the city and about like how the boat waterways, like the rules of the water sort of thing. And then it's 10 hours in a boat, and they're like, go with God. You're ready to go.
100%.
You are a gondolier.
I don't want some guy from the Northwest Territories driving my gondola. Sounds horrible.
I think it's you that's being discriminatory now.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Is that maybe the most fun boat to be the captain of? Like, with all the singing and the goofing around.
I think it's still a job, man. I don't know if it's that fun.
Well, I get that it's a job at the end of the day, but I mean, some jobs are better than others in terms of like enjoying yourself. Like, I'm thinking if you're driving a gondolier in Venice, you're probably not working on rainy days or cold days. Like, you're out there on the touristy, summery,
It
happy
is a
days.
customer service job. You're working with people all the time. You got to probably have some wicked forearms for it.
I would imagine you would be pretty jacked in the arm region for sure.
Also, neither of us look good in stripes.
That's true. I look okay in vertical stripes because they kind of bring it in a little bit.
Then you just look like a big referee up there.
No one's jumping on your boat if you look like you just escaped from Italian jail.
Sure.
What about being on a cruise ship? Because we've talked before. I know that you think being like a passenger on a cruise ship, not the funnest thing in the world. But if you're the captain, I imagine you're pretty well taken care of.
I don't know. I don't like the whole idea that you're supposed to go down with the ship. You know, like crap hits the fan and I'm just supposed to die? Might not even have been my fault.
I do feel like that's a more olden time mentality.
They get mad at anyone who doesn't stay on their ship.
I don't know if like Princess Cruise Lines is like, by the way, if the boat goes down, we do expect you to die.
Also, just imagine sitting there all day, like in your captain's deck and looking out at the water slide and wave pool all day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, life at sea.
There is also a part of it where it seems like a lot of mingling, and I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, you see in the shows and stuff like that, the captain's always like out meeting people on the cruise ship, and that would be a downer for me.
There's only so many times you can eat Johnny Rockets, right? Like,
Ooh, what about being a boat cop?
A boat cop?
You're the captain of like the cruise boat that like goes around the harbor, like arrests people.
Boat cop would be pretty nice, actually.
Boat cop, I feel like, would be pretty sick.
It's just busting people drinking all the time is all it is,
That's
right?
essentially it, right? It's people drinking or people messing around like the docks, the piers, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. You could also do, if you were like in the Navy, would you rather be on a battleship, like a aircraft carrier, or on like a submarine? Be the captain.
Submarine freaks me out, being underwater.
Being trapped under the water.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be above. Yeah.
I would love to be on an aircraft carrier because I feel like as the captain, you could just be like, all right, somebody take me up in one of those planes. We got the afternoon off.
Your idea of the military is hilarious. Like they're all just palling around. Like, let's go for a flight right now.
I watch McHale's Navy. I feel like that's pretty much how it goes, right? Like you're not always at war. There's got to be time for a few trips, Top Gun style.
I don't know, man. I feel like they're a little more serious. You're taking it like it's a sitcom or something.
Ooh, what about those like mega yachts? Because they're owned by the billionaires. But the billionaires aren't the captains. They still have to hire a captain.
Yeah, but then you just got some rich dick yelling at you all the time, right?
I feel like it's cushy life, though. Like, you probably make big stacks of money to just be ready to take this rich jerk out on the water whenever he's ready.
I think what I'm realizing today, I'm pretty cool here on land.
You're happy with us?
That's what I'm coming around
Terra firma?
Yeah. I don't have to be responsible for anything that goes down on the water. That's fine with me.
Dude, you got to get out a little bit more. I never thought I'd say this to you.
The pirate's life is not for me.
Oh, pirate captain.
No.
You're no fun.
Bunch of guys with scurvy.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Me and Dalby just watched the greatest trailer of all time.
Dude.
You have to see this for yourself.
You told me about this, and I couldn't wrap my head around it until you showed it to me.
Text Popeye to 762-555. I guess I didn't know Popeye has become public domain, just like Winnie the Pooh.
I didn't realize that the Popeye character was that old.
They have made a Popeye the Slayer Man movie. It's a horror movie. All about Popeye killing people.
Popeye the Slayer Man is just such a perfect twist on the name.
The description on the YouTube trailer says a curious group of friends sneak into an abandoned spinach canning factory to film a documentary on the legend of the Sailor Man, who is said to haunt the factory at the docks. And the best part is the excuse why they have that Popeye is so crazy.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Do you know why the factory closed down 20 years ago? There was a spinach contamination.
There was a spinach contamination. Are you serious?
This movie looks so stupid, but so amazing at the same time.
It's one of those ones.
You have to watch it.
When you showed me the Winnie the Pooh one, Blood and Honey or whatever it was, I was like, this is too much. This is too dumb. I don't want to see this. But they keep showing these like very quick glances of Popeye and the dialogue and everything, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie now.
And even at the end of the trailer, there's this part.
Monster!
I am what I am.
I just wonder if he's gonna do stuff like from the show. Like, is he gonna drink spinach before he like takes someone out?
I have to imagine. I mean, there's a scene, if you watch the trailer, where he's shaking the can of spinach towards his face.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So at some point, but now the question is, like the cartoon where he takes the spinach and all of a sudden, like the muscles like roll back and forth with the ding sounds.
Yeah.
Like, is that gonna happen? Or does he just Hulk out and start killing people?
He's just fighting everyone. That's all it is. He's not even actually a monster. The one thing I was disappointed is I didn't hear the laugh.
That is the one thing that's missing.
That's
now,
terrifying.
obviously, they're trying to take a much more serious tone with Popeye the Slayer Man.
But if he's killing people and all you hear is...
That's just it, right? Like, there's a scene where he, like, breaks someone's arm and just sort of menacingly growls at them.
He should have done that.
It's way more terrifying.
I will say, this will be beneficial for all kids to watch.
Explain.
Because they'll have a new excuse on why they don't want to eat spinach.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I think we're going to get a lot more of these movies because a friend of the show, Sarah, texted in a list of all the characters that are supposed to become public domain in the next little bit.
Okay.
So Popeye is 2025, so I guess that's why they're releasing it in the new year.
Right.
Pluto the dog is coming in 2026.
Pluto the dog it's not Disney property anymore?
I guess it's kind of like the Mickey Mouse thing, right?
Yeah.
Which I think you could make a horror movie about that, about him attacking Goofy for also being a dog, but treating him like a dog the entire time.
For constantly being abused by all the other upright walking dogs.
Yeah.
He's out for revenge.
Goofy's going to be available for public domain in 2028. Terrifying.
Absolutely.
That would be absolutely terrifying.
The sound you hear right before you die would be the scariest noise possible.
Donald Duck apparently in 2029 as well.
That one writes itself. Mm-hmm. He's already a raging murderer as it is. Mm-hmm. Now he's free to kill.
And then eventually, I mean, you could get this whole universe going because Mickey Mouse in 2037 is like the Disney version of Mickey Mouse is supposed to be. So you could have a full like evil Mickey Mouse clubhouse one day.
That's amazing.
Someone sneaks into the abandoned Mickey Mouse clubhouse.
Right.
And they're all still in there.
Dude, I watched a lot of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse when my kids were growing up. That whole thing is like automated with these creepy robot AI hands.
Terrifying.
And stuff like that. You can make a whole Saw movie out of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 2032.
Oh, the Seven Dwarfs are already primed to do awful
The idea
things.
of this lady being in the middle of the forest and running into them, and they're like, hi ho. They've got their pickaxes and everything, dude.
Yeah, when they say they're off to work, it's to murder.
The one that I'm mostly excited for is in 2038, Bambi is supposed to become public domain.
Well, Bambi's already a horror movie. What are you going to do to Bambi?
I think it's Bambi going after hunters is what it is.
Bambi gets revenge.
She's trying to find the dude who killed her mom. Or it's just her standing in the middle of the road. That's all our horror movies.
Instead of the hunter killing Bambi's mom gets hit by a car, and the whole thing is, I know what you did last summer.
The hunted becomes the hunter.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast. Would you rather Wednesday? Would you rather Wednesday?
All right, let's get weird. 762-555. Got a lot of texts coming in here. First one says, would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
I feel like I don't want to know what's going on in the average person's mind.
Same here. Yeah.
I would love to be able to move things with my mind. Perfect for being lazy. Also, I feel like it's a power you could make some money off of, whether it's in like construction or stuff like that. But man, the idea of like tuning into someone's mind, you're almost certainly at some point going to hear something you can't unhear.
Dude, imagine doing the show right now and just the cars driving by the station and all you hear is, these guys are idiots. And you're like, oh, I know.
Oh, my heart.
I know. Would you rather, this one's for you. Would Dalby rather be slowly hunted by one turtle the rest of his life or smell like roast beef the rest of his life?
I assume that the turtle thing is similar to the snail conundrum, where like a snail is chasing you for the rest of your life. It knows exactly where you are, and if it ever makes contact with you, you'll die. But if it doesn't make contact, you'll live forever.
So turtle or roast beef?
I feel like socially, I can probably get by smelling like roast beef. I would hate the idea of having to constantly move to avoid some death-seeking turtle. Right? So I feel like it's probably less inconvenient for me to smell like roast beef than to have to constantly be on edge that I'm going to die.
Sure. Would you rather always have a full battery or a full tank of gas? I feel like that's an easy one. You got to go gas on this.
Well, because once the gas starts the vehicle charges the battery, right? So, like, I feel like you can get a portable charger to get the jump going.
Yeah.
And then you've got a full tank of gas.
Well, and then if the apocalypse happens, I think I'd rather have the full tank of gas than the full battery when everything shuts down.
You can stockpile batteries, but eventually you're going to run out of usable gas.
Plus, then I could siphon my own gas and sell it once the apocalypse happens.
Live like a king.
Yeah.
I think you're more likely to actually be murdered for your magic car in that scenario, but I like where your head's at.
Would you rather find a rat in your kitchen or a roach in your bed? I think you got to go rat in the kitchen on this one.
Yeah.
Roach in the bed, like, that means there's already, like, a massive infestation. I mean, there's probably more than one rat in your house.
Right.
But once the roaches are in, like,
that's
you're screwed.
A problem. Whereas, rat in the kitchen, you're going to have to do a deep clean. Fair enough. But I think you're right. I think that once the roaches get into the bedroom, it's way more bad news.
Plus, based on a movie that I once saw, it could teach you how to cook better. So just keep that in mind.
That's only if you find the rat on your head under a hat steering you like a puppet.
All right, we'll get a few more in here. Would you rather get a paper cut every time you turn a page reading a book or bite your tongue every time you eat?
Cut me. Absolutely cut me. One, books are on tape now. I don't have to read books anymore.
True.
Biting your tongue is one of the worst feelings in the world. And, like, yes, paper cuts hurt. They're super annoying. If you work with anything like chemicals or whatever, like, it sucks. But biting your tongue feels like you're gonna die.
Valid.
Every single time.
Would you rather be stuck in an elevator with the same Christmas song on repeat or stuck in traffic with no radio? I gotta go with traffic on this one.
Well, because you can look around, right? If you're in the elevator and you're being tortured by the same song and you're in a confined space, there's nothing to occupy you. Whereas, if my radio's broken and I'm in traffic, I can look around at different cars, different people. I can have a conversation if there's somebody else. I think there's more to keep me from going insane in the car.
100%. Yeah. Final one here. Would you rather hear someone sniffle or blow their nose constantly while you eat?
Oh, like sitting at the dinner table?
That's, I honestly don't know where I fall on that. I mean, I guess the sniffle, because the blow is more aggressive. You get everything coming out.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the sniffle is a bit, but that also drives me crazy.
If the blow is like a one-off, because I think the idea is like it's gross to blow your nose at the dinner table
it's
with
constantly,
food.
He said, yeah.
If you're constantly blowing your nose, it's too loud. There's too much spread of germs if you're not like really taking care of it. Whereas the sniffle is annoying, but I think it's less disgusting.
Which guy would you rather be?
Would I rather be nose blow or sniffle guy?
Because the sniffle guy, you might think he's all just on drugs.
True. I would rather be sniffle guy because at least sniffle guy's still eating.
Yeah.
I don't have my knife and fork in hand if I'm constantly Kleenex to the face.
You don't want to add a little extra flavor to your steak?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we've kind of always been told that dolphins are the smartest non-human animal on the planet. That's sort of just always been the hierarchy.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
They have the water, and we have everything else. I was down a rabbit hole from an Oxford professor named Tim Coulson, who's written a new book talking about how, with maybe just one or two evolutionary changes, octopi might actually take over the planet.
I mean, I've also heard the theory before that octopus are the alien of the sea.
That's a thing. Apparently, they are incredibly smart. I had no idea. Like, they have the ability to do, like, complex puzzle solving, problem solving. They can manipulate objects. Like, they've been shown. They did some weird testing by putting, like, octopus food, like animals an octopus would eat, inside like mason jars, and the octopus will figure it out, open it up, and eat on the animal.
There's tons of videos online of them getting onto like ships out in the middle of the water and like the way they maneuver out. It's crazy, man.
I don't think that we are nearly scared enough of octopi.
The planet of the octopus?
That's where I've ended up today. They even said that at some point, if the octopi continue to evolve, they could start to build their own, like, underwater civilizations. At which point, I think we have to go to war with the octopi.
I mean, as long as they don't come on the land, I think we're good. I'm cool with staying out of the water. We've addressed this earlier this morning.
If we could divvy it up, just be like, all right, listen, you guys have down there, we stay up here. Because that's the other thing is apparently, I think it's like they can come out of the water for up to 30 minutes before they have to go back in.
I think as long as we unbaby-proof our world, like if they can somehow figure out how to get on land, if we just all stay on like escalators, we should be okay.
No, because you know what they'll do? They'll jump up on the little handrail that moves and they'll just ride it up to the top.
Oh, damn, can't even do that. Yeah.
It's literally this weird thought. Like, I'm sure that at no point in my lifetime, in your lifetime, even in my children's lifetime, will we have to worry about the planet of the octopi. But I've read this book now, and I'm terrified.
Yeah, it's a horrible world to live in.
I don't know how to shake this sudden, newfound fear of these 8-legged freaks.
Our world could just look like the thing that the Detroit Red Wings used to come out onto the ice of.
That giant octopus with the jersey on.
Yeah.
Just imagine you're like on your way to work and you see that thing at the end of the road.
That's what it would look like when we go to war. That'd be our new prime minister.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Now, today's word is commodious. Yeah, commodious.
Another guy from the Matrix?
And it's COMMODIOUS. Yeah, commodious. And it's comfortably spacious or roomy. I know it sounds commodious. Sounds like you got the runs or something. Anyways, that just about does it. Have a great one. Cheers up.
To be clear, you were thinking of Morpheus, the character from The Matrix.
Of course.
And commodious, I get what he's saying in that, anything with the word commode in it is immediately going to make you think of the bathroom. Although, by the definition, it sounds like very rare to find a commodious bathroom.
According to Webster's Dictionary, it says very roomy and comfortable, especially of furniture or a building.
So you could have like a commodious, what was that show? The Big Commodious Couch back when you were
Yeah. I even think you could start using it just with other things. Like I've started buying more commodious shirts because my gut is getting bigger. Right?
Eventually, as you get older and start to build a family, you're going to need a more commodious bed.
Yeah,
you can't
after
just live
Thanksgiving, you take an X-Lax and you'll feel more commodious afterwards.
As you spend time on the commode, it all comes full circle.
Commodious. Use it wherever you can today, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.